Welcome back to Outside the Belly. I'm John Fredericks, and I am your blowtorch of free speech in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Thank you, as always, for being with us. No nonsense, no gibberish. Want to keep it right here. I tell you what, we got a long year ahead of us. It's going to be great. We're going to somehow pull these midterms out. It's not going to be easy. I'm going on bus tours all over the place. Likely none in Virginia because that's a lost cause. Iowa, Maine. I'm going to Maine too. Win that seat. New Hampshire. Lewandowski might challenge Kelly Ayotte for governor. Let's go. It's going to be fun. You want to fasten your seatbelts, lace them up, and lace them tight, but you got to be healthy. And you got to get a good night's sleep. And how do you do that? REM sleep right here. If you're not taking it, you're depriving yourself of a good night's sleep. Sleep is the most important thing you possibly have. Got to get a good night's sleep every night. And Healthy Cell does this. Now, I take my Healthy Cell every day because I take the bio vitamin, which has got everything in it. Comes in a gel form. So as soon as I get up, before I go to work, before I brush my teeth, I take my bio gel, just tear it off and down it. Take that. I know that I'm getting all the vitamins and the nutrients in my system that I need. And because it's a gel, it gets absorbed. You take a pill from GNC, you pee it out. Waste of money. Then at night, 15 minutes before I go to bed, REM sleep. Puts you in all four phases of sleep. You're going to dream. I don't remember any of them, but I know that I dream. That puts you in the phase 4 of REM sleep. You jump out of bed, you're refreshed, you feel better, your body's rejuvenated. And I can get you 20% off. I urge you, take care of your health and get a good night's sleep like I did last night. All you got to do is go to healthycell.com/Godzilla. That's healthycell.com/Godzilla. And you are good to go right there with promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off. Promo code Godzilla, you're going to get 20% off. And you're good to go. And we thank you. We thank you for that. Let me get to, we got a couple callers here. I want to thank everybody for calling in. We got Dave. Dave, hang in there. We're going to get to you in a couple minutes. Let's get to Tim in Orlando, line 4. Tim, you're live.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. No, you always explain that you used to train horses, John. How do you keep the biggest horse in the stalls from kicking you through a wall?
Well, you got to be very careful. You got to know what you're doing, but you also they stay in a stall, and if they're out in the if they're out in the breezeway, you put them on cross ties. But you certainly don't stand behind the horse, right? You don't stand behind a horse and try to do something with him because you are going to get killed. Now, I did that one time and I got a little lax, and I still have a scar from that. Not the horse's fault. I think I can't remember. I think it was Canis Minor was his name, but you're trying to find a pain on him. You hit the pain because that's what a trainer does. You're standing behind him, you get kicked in the head. I mean, that's what happens when you're in that position. Go ahead.
Well, see, the whole thing is about deterrence. You know, I didn't want to use the word shock collar, but people that have a dog that's kind of nippy or jumps up on people, the trainers will tell you to use a shock collar. The dog's okay. You don't shock the dog, but if the dog starts to do something that you want them to stop doing, then you have to zap them. The arresting of these protesters, that's a deterrent. So arrests deter violence, and they're not doing that. I mean, it's just common sense. I mean, you've got the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, who publicly is telling the protesters to get in between ICE and the arrestees. And you've got Governor Waltz saying that ICE are Gestapo. So, I mean, at some point, you're going to need a deterrent, right?
Well, this is why he's got to institute the Insurrection Act. There's no turning back now. And my biggest fear here, my biggest fear is not the optics. My biggest fear is not losing the midterms over it. None of that. My biggest fear is Republicans cave. That's my biggest fear, because then the whole thing collapses. Then they've won. Then it collapses. And then you think Minnesota, every single state, they don't want these illegals taken out because that is their entire future of their power and party. It's the illegals.
Right.
That's why they don't want them out. They don't care about the fraud. As long as they get power, they don't care. This is why they're threatened. Stay on the line. Let's bring in Dave Brat. Dave Brat joining us, Senior Executive, Liberty University, former Congressman, 7th District, Virginia, PhD economics. Dr. Dave, first, thanks for your patience. Second, thanks for filling in for me last Tuesday. Had great feedback. Thanks, Dave.
Hey, anytime, brother. Love it. Love to do it.
I think Ann sent you something you wanted, right? It should come if it
Oh,
hasn't.
nice. Good.
Yeah, I'll
Perfect.
follow up with her. I'm almost positive she did that. So it should
Great.
come any day. I got collagen. I think you wanted that is on the way. Let's get
Nice.
to what's going on in Minneapolis. I've also got Tim on the line. Go ahead, Dave. What is your assessment of what went down over the weekend?
Well, I agree with what you were just saying. You know, we saw the 50 or 60 new bills they put in Virginia, and one of them isn't a policy. It's just a pure gaslighting effect. The most striking one is the one that said we're going to make it illegal to count paper ballots. Right? I mean, so that's the surefire way of making sure somebody's voted legally, and they're going to outlaw the most conservative way of counting paper ballots, right? So what you were saying was this is their strategy. I think that is the important part to say out loud, right? Their strategy is one of government corruption, and now it's coming out in Minnesota. And I think I saw released files yesterday. We'll see. This is not absolutely confirmed yet, but I think the conspiracy linking Waltz and the mayor and many of the famous protesters we've seen, they're all connected in a certain entity, and I think that's coming out. And so if that's shown, and even before that, you're right, the deterrence effect, Trump, if you're going to go in, you have to go in with overwhelming force, right? These cars and all this should not be, just lock the cars down, put car lock on the tires. No one should be moving vehicles. The protesters coming, you should draw a red line and say if you cross that red line, you're going in the paddy wagon down the street. You're going to jail immediately, and there has to be enough officers to make that happen. And if there's not enough, don't go in, because it unfortunately it is optics. That would the optics would never turn me back on the resolve to stop the illegal invasion. But Trump got the messaging right yesterday. I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but he said, Minnesota police, give us all your illegals and criminals that are in jail, right? So he's not saying all the illegal aliens, but he said, give me all the criminals. The police won't do their job. And that's the real point that he needs to drive home to the American people, is that the police, and our governor in Virginia just signed the same thing. The police will not work with federal law officials, ICE. And that is not part of the American deal. And so I would put all my firepower on that messaging to have Trump come out and everyone come out and say, hey, it's very clear what's going on here. If you want ICE to go away, no problem. Just bring out the criminals, everyone with a criminal record that you won't give us. The police won't help us and get rid of the kids that have the adults who have raped your kids. That's what we're asking for. The adults who have done drug deals, the adults who have raped women, wives, daughters, etc. That's what we're asking for. And we're not asking. We are demanding. This is the rule of law. We still live in a country based on the rule of law, and we got to keep it that way.
Do you think the president should invoke the Insurrection Act?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Especially if he's got evidence of, there's multiple conspiracies going on simultaneously. And they're not conspiracies anymore, right? The Russiagate was proven. The Steele dossier was proven. And now you've got the corruption in Minnesota, money laundering proven. And then you get the ties linking all this together, going back to 2014, all the politics on the left, and then linking it to election fraud is coming up to a theater near you. And so I'm sure the Justice Department is working overtime. They've been in a year, but now it's American people have to see these arrests. They absolutely have to see action, or things. Right? I mean, what? I hate to get philosophical, but what follows a weak democracy in the progression of governments? In Plato's Republic, he wrote this 2,400 years ago. Chaos, revolution, then you get the strong man on either the right or the left. And we don't want that.
The optics are making your rhino counterparts that you work with in Congress are all getting weak-kneed now. They all want this whole thing to go away, right? Because that's what with the first sign of trouble, they hide, cave, capitulate, and think if they make nice with the Democrats, something good will happen. And all it means is they lose. What do hold the music here, Tyler, Michael? What do Republicans here have to do? And then I'll get Tim involved. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, you're right. And, before it was bad enough with the liberals. The liberals outflanked us all the time. They'd move down the field with policy and money and budgets and win. And then the Republicans would get in and, take back 10%. Then the Democrats get in and take 90%. But now it's not the liberals. Now it's the Marxists. And I mean, the American people don't get what that term means yet, right? I mean, Mamdani is a Marxist, right? I mean, he wants to own the means of production. He's going to tax everyone, own everything, and tell you what to do with your life. And so the idea that these moderate Republicans are going to debate and have public policy outcomes with the Marxists is foolhardy. We have to win. The only way is, and Trump showed you the formula for how to win, right? And that's what we need to follow. President Trump has led. He got the people behind him. And I've been seeing other international leaders, just mocking the president and all this. But a few have come out and said, hey, sorry, the American people said what they needed and what they wanted. And it's not our role to tell America who America is. America has declared that President Trump is the leader we need at this point in history to get things straight. And boy, is he straightening things out internationally. We could spend an hour on that one. And but domestically now is the key choke point in the country is the domestic violence caused by the left. When the right gets together, you don't see people throwing stuff at officers. Only the left does that.
I mean, you go there, you go to a so-called peaceful protest, you bring a loaded gun, you have 2 extra magazines, you brandish it, you get in a scuffle with a law enforcement officer, and somehow it's our fault. I mean, it's just the most mind-boggling thing to me ever. Like you're there with a loaded gun, waving it around at a federal law enforcement official. What do you think is going to happen here? You think they're just going to pat you on the head and say, hey, go ahead and shoot me? And by the way, good thing you got 2 mags in there. I mean, what the hell you think is going to happen, Dave?
That's why the Insurrection Act and more troops are needed. We cannot get into these violent conflicts with 1 or 2 people.
Right.
You need to win it ahead of time, right? That whole area needs to be cordoned off. Wherever you're going in to get the criminal illegal aliens, you cordon off blocks so that there's no violence. Our side does not want the violence. Their side wants the violence, right? You've been going on this for months and years in a row, saying here's what's coming in this Podesta plan and Mike Flynn, and they're orchestrating it. I think they're out of gas, just like the globalists. Von der Leyen, the EU globalists, just had a vote of no confidence on her by the elites, but they jam it through on the left. So she made it through. But that's just an analogy here. Now Obama comes out and gives his virtue signaling, keep fighting, fight the revolution, Che Guevara, let's go, troops. And we have to resist that. We have to have so much force, which there is, that maintains peace and law and order. And that's who our side has to represent. And the American people will reward you greatly for being the party of law and order that protects people and their property.
I agree 100%. There's no backing down here. And what the liberals want is they want Trump to back down. They want the Republicans to back down, and then they control the narrative. And the fake news is going in overdrive, and they're trying to position this as a murder when the guy came to a protest with a loaded gun and waved it around. What do you think is going to happen to you? You think they're just going to pat you on the head and send you along your way? And he gets into a shoving match. Like, why are you shoving law enforcement? Like if I got stopped today going somewhere by a DC cop and got out of my car and had a gun, which is illegal here by the way, and had a gun and waved it around, and I pushed the officer, the hell you think's going to happen to me? I mean, what like I'm going to end up either dead or in jail. It's mind-boggling. But the Democrats, they have to go forward with this because this represents their entire future power base. Without these illegals, they're done. They have no votes. They can't win anywhere except the most left-wing states, Dave, and that's a problem. I'm going to give Tim in Orlando the final word. Go ahead, Tim.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks. But it's just the money, John. It's all about the money. You give money to the daycare, the health, and the food. They broke all those oversight laws. That cash goes through the airports in suitcases going out of Minnesota. They broke all the banking laws that govern that. Then that money gets flowed back into the United States through to fund the protests through smurfing elections. They've broken all those laws. So it's about the money. It's about not putting the deterrents in that stop it.
Money and votes. Dave just nailed it. One of the things they passed in Virginia was you can't hand count a ballot. The reason why they don't want you hand count a ballot is because they don't want the ballot scrutinized because they get illegals to vote illegally for them so they can get money. That's why they don't want a paper ballot counted by hand. You don't want to even see it. They just want to put it through a scanner and it comes out and it's all good. I mean, Dave nailed it. Dave, I want to thank you for being with us. As always, Dave. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Dave. Dave, Brat, you want to follow Dave, just go to Ungetter, Brat Economics, Ungetter, Brat Economics. You get them right there. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Tim.